Are you dealing with a narcissist and you want to know what the difference is between silent treatment, no contact, and ghosting? Well, by the end of this video, you're going to know what the difference is between these three things, and so that you'll be able to spot them when the narcissist is using them on you. Hi, I'm REBECCAZUNG, top 1% attorney and the best-selling author of the books Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a Step-by-Step Divorce Guide. And I've helped thousands of people, actually millions at this point, go from lives of drama, trauma, and chaos, that toxic stew, to help them break free and step into new lives and new futures and new beginnings. And I do the same thing for you right here on this channel and in these videos. So make sure that you subscribe and you hit that notification bell, and that way you'll get notified when I upload new videos and new content. So now let's talk about the difference between silent treatment, no contact, and ghosting. So all three are things that you experience when you're dealing with narcissists, but two of them are done by the narcissist and one of them is done by you, the victim or the target of the narcissist's abuse or behavior. So let's talk first about silent treatment. So silent treatment is something that the narcissist uses in order to gain control over you. It's something that they do to make you upset, to make you squirm. Remember that the narcissist is doing whatever they can to get control over you, because that gives them a form of narcissistic supply. If you want to know more about narcissistic supply, you should definitely check out my video on narcissistic supply. Basically what it is anything that feeds a narcissist's ego. And I kind of liken it to almost like the tip of the iceberg kind of a thing, because the stuff that feeds a narcissist's ego that you can see on top of the iceberg is the stuff that would feed anybody's ego, because who doesn't like getting compliments or respect or having prestigious, life or friends or a nice house or whatever it is. So those are sort of like the things that first come to mind when people think, oh, feed their ego. That's what they want. They want to, compliments, and they want their ego to be fluffed up in some way. But that's really just the tip of the iceberg, because remember that in some ways, you could say that we all have narcissistic traits or tendencies, but I don't really call it that. I know some people do. I don't really call it that, because a narcissist to me is all the way at the end of the spectrum. It's a person who is pathologically in need of anything that feeds their ego. All human beings want to feel seen, heard, and know that we matter. That's why my book is called Negotiate Like You Matter. When I wrote the book, I didn't specifically address narcissists throughout the entire book. I do reference narcissists some, but when you're dealing with a narcissist, what you're really dealing with is somebody who has no sense of self. They need to get as much out of the people around them as they can, almost like squeezing lemons or sucking blood. That's why sometimes they're called energy vampires. Or I remember when I was dealing with narcissists, I remember feeling like they were leeches. And that was just the only word I could come up with, was like leeches or parasites. And they almost want to become you. And so that's why sometimes you find them like staring at you or watching you. And if you want to know more about that creepy narcissist stare, check out my video on why the narcissist is always watching you, because that's part of what it is that they're doing. They kind of almost want to become you in some ways. So because they have no sense of self. So the rest of that iceberg is the other stuff, what I call the dark underbelly, the part that they don't show the world. And that is that they get narcissistic supply from treating people poorly, from being scary, from intimidating you, gaslighting you, projection, denying, deflection, control tactics, smear campaigns, flying monkeys. It's this whole nasty, toxic stew that you're subjected to, and it becomes really, really traumatic and difficult to get out of once they start that toxic stew formula on you. So that's what's happening when to feed their ego, to feed their need for narcissistic supply. So when they give you the silent treatment, it's actually just a form of trying to control you. So they are stopping talking to you, via text or email or whatever, like they're at work, or maybe you live in separate places and all of a sudden you can't get in touch with them. And so that they have this, they're giving you the silent treatment, and it's to try to get you to come back and grovel and say, oh, please talk to me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I was, I shouldn't have said that. They want you to beg to get back into their web of control. And they love that. They love to see you squirm that way. That totally gets them that narcissistic supply that they so deeply that they so deeply crave. And closely related to the silent treatment is ghosting. But ghosting is actually when they're ready to be done and they're just gone. And now all of a sudden you just never hear from them again. And that will happen when they don't feel like there's any source of supply left that they can squeeze out of you. So they just move on to other sources of supply. As long as they think that there is some form of supply for them to squeeze out of you, even if they've long moved on to other sources of supply, they'll come back. And the supply doesn't necessarily mean that they think that you're going to tell them how wonderful they are. It means as long as they think that they can scare you, control you, intimidate you, jerk you around, treat you poorly, make you feel intimidated, all of those things, they will continue to come back into your space. Or maybe just being attached to you in some way gives them some sort of prestige, or just, because maybe you're more powerful than they are, just getting your attention sometimes is all they want. So, but that's when they're coming back and they're hoovering and all that sort of thing. So ghosting just means they're gone and you never hear from them again. And that just means that you're no longer a good source of supply for them. And if you are ready to get out of this narcissistic relationship today, give me a today in the comments. Okay, so now let's talk about going no contact. This is something that you do as the narcissist victim, or the target of the narcissistic abuse. And this is something that you do to protect yourself, to put up boundaries, to stop that narcissistic abuse, to say it's not okay anymore, I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready to take control back of my life. So one is done, ghosting or silent treatment, they're used by the narcissist as a weapon. Whereas you are actually using going no contact as a shield, as a barrier, as a protection for yourself, where you're actually just saying, it's not okay anymore. I'm blocking you on my phone. I'm blocking you on my social media. And I don't want to see what you're doing. I don't want you to see what I'm doing. I don't want to interact with you anymore. I want to erase you from the CPU of my life. I don't want to have to deal with you ever again. And that's what I had to do with narcissists in my life. And, you know, I still have to deal with them popping up every once in a while, unfortunately. But I keep up super strong boundaries, and I try to keep it to a very, very bare minimum. Which is why I don't even mention who they are in these videos, because I don't want them coming back. I want them to stay away, and I would like to wipe them from the CPU of my life as if they never existed. They never came into my life. They never came into my world. And I highly recommend that you do the same. It is so much better. The air smells cleaner, the sky is bluer, the grass is greener. It's definitely better to get that negative energy out of your space. So that's what it means to go no contact. If you are getting ready to negotiate with a narcissist, grab my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet. It's basically an ebook, and many thousands of people have used it to successfully negotiate their situation. So grab it. You can get it at winmynegotiation.com. If you like this video, give it a like. If you think this information would be helpful for others, please share it. Let's get this information out there. Let's help people get that step-by-step guidance that they need to escape these relationships. And also drop me a comment. Let me know that you were here, or just say today, because today is the day that you are going to start breaking free. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, now's a great time to do that. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you want more support, you're feeling isolated, you're feeling alone, you want to connect with others who are dealing with what you're dealing with, come join me in my free private Facebook group. It's called Narcissist Negotiators with REBECCAZUNG, and I'll drop links to all these things below. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. Remember, today is a great day to start negotiating your best life. I'll see you in the next video.